Welcome to Glazed Over,
a podcast for business tips, painting tricks, and gabbing with friends.
We're your hosts, Amy Williams
and Christine Steele, and we're so glad you're here.
Hey, Christine.
Hi, Amy. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm excited. We've got an episode that I feel is dedicated to me. I feel like it's going to get me whipped into shape, which is what I really need. We are talking with William Shipley, or Bill. We can just be casual best friends at this point, from Constant Contact.
Hey, yes, how are you? Thanks for having me on.
Yay. Thanks, Bill. We're just going to get right into it. I don't even want to dilly-dally. I feel like you've got a lot of good information for us. Tell us a little bit about who you are, how long you've been with Constant Contact, and what you do for them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, again, my name is Bill Shipley. I've been with Constant Contact for a little over 3 years. I had a lot of different experiences at Constant Contact in my career, so I'm excited to be able to speak to a couple different levels. So I've been on the phones, working with customers and trying to help them through the everyday grind. I've also been on the phones trying to sell the product and get people to open up to the idea of emailing. I've sold a couple different of our lines of products on this side, which is exciting. And now I am currently in a key account manager role where I have a set of about 20 larger businesses or partnerships that I support, like CCSA. And my job essentially is to try and help strategize and really try and find how to get the most out of our product for the folks that are using it. And we know it's ever changing and the market changes all the time. So my job as a key account manager is to really help highlight those success stories and find out what's working and move on from the things that aren't necessarily working.
Yeah, that rules. I will be honest with you. Like, I can show up on the internet, on my social media. I can laugh. I can cry. I understand the internet is forever, but it doesn't bother me there. But something about email feels like so permanent and scary. Like, I feel like every email is going to be etched into my tombstone or something. And I really need to get over that. Like, Christine, do you feel the same way?
It scares me. I don't understand why either. I think it's something that is so official.
It's so direct, which is the great part, right? Like, you're showing up immediately, but it feels so scary.
And I just want to do it well. And I feel like if I don't do it well, it's going to look unprofessional. So I get so scared. I'm 100% with you.
Yeah, I will be honest though. I love when I get that second email that's like, oops, here's actually the right link. I don't know. That feels like so charming to me. So I guess I need to pay attention to that. But Bill, like, how just help. So where do we begin? Like, how do you, what's best practice for emailing our customers?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're absolutely right. I do feel like it's a very professional, official thing. Like if I see a spelling error on a social post, I don't really think that much about it. Like I imagined that they were just fat fingering it on the phone or whatever. For some reason for email, it does feel more official. We do have a mobile app and you can conduct your emails from there, but most of the time it's done in front of a keyboard and folks are expected to have that kind of professional and spell check and all those tools associated. So I agree with you. Emails looked at a little more critically. But to talk about some of the best practices, it does kind of vary business by business and vertical by vertical, et cetera. But I would say as a whole, I believe that one of the best levels of communication is email. And the way to really use our program to its best ability is to stay consistent. And what I mean by that is a quarterly newsletter at least. Some people do a monthly, but I do think a newsletter is critical in the sense that you have the ability to send out updates about your business. You might have new events coming. You might be able to highlight certain aspects, and that keeps folks engaged. And if you're able to commit to that 4 times a year, if you're doing it quarterly, which is really not a lot, especially given all the tools and resources that is within our system and outside of our system that you could use for content, I think that that is a great start. And also, I know we may talk about this a little bit, but it's also a real great list building tool because if there's a newsletter that someone receives with valuable information, it's very, very easy to forward that out. So first best practice, definitely commit to some sort of newsletter on a quarterly or monthly basis. And I would say the second best practice that I would talk about with a cadence and staying consistent at least is a weekly email to segmented lists. And let me explain that a little bit more. So your quarterly email goes out to everyone, anyone that you can get to sign up and say, I want your emails, absolutely provide them that information. Weekly emails, in my recommendation, should go out once a week to folks that will open your emails and will be able to provide you with this information automatically. You'll be able to see on a dashboard that you have your top 30% of your list that engages on a regular basis. And you'll be able to tell through our reporting what types of emails are being opened by who. And then what I would recommend, so that you're maintaining a consistent interaction rate rather than sending weekly emails to people that aren't going to open them, aren't going to look at them, just delete them, maybe even report them as spam. We want to get on a weekly basis out to the folks that will open your email. So we'll give you the reporting, and then you can cater those emails to the folks that are more engaged on a regular basis.
Now, let's say, hypothetically, of course, this is not me, but let's say that our segments are not as segmented as they should be. Is there any help, or do I just kind of moving forward have to be better? There's no kind of retroactive segmenting, is there?
So we have a bunch of things that are automatic. So you may be able to pull segments out to say, here is the list of everyone that's signed up through my events tab. And you might be able to say, this type of person is going to be more interested in the type of events that we throw, or maybe this type of person is going to be more interested in the new materials or new product launches or things that you might be bringing in from that perspective. You'll be able to tell that from your own business model. What we'll provide you with, you'll be able to log in and see, here are your top 30% engaged folks. Here are your bottom 30% engaged. And here's kind of that neutral ground. And what you do with that information is you have, okay, the most people that are engaged, they should be getting your weekly emails and your quarterly business newsletters. The least engaged should be getting probably at minimum the quarterly newsletters. And occasionally, if there's some sort of like massive sale and you're trying to drive traffic outside of the regular kind of cadence, then you can try something larger with them, a larger promo or a larger, event structure or something. You can try kind of dabbling in that. And then the people in the neutral ground in that middle, and we'll provide you with that information. I would say split it up from time to time. On an email that you sent out and didn't have a lot of engagement, maybe the next time include that neutral ground to try and pull in an additional pool of people to try and get that engagement.
Yeah. Okay, that's smart. And how much time should you be giving yourself before you're really looking at the analytics of that email you sent?
I'm a stats type person. I like the data. So I start looking at it almost immediately. Like I'll check my email like an hour after I send it to see who's opened it.
I get my feelings hurt though, like because then I'll see unsubscribed and I'm like, oh no, they don't like me anymore.
Oh goodness, that's all part of it. That's all part of it. And you don't want to be sending information to someone who doesn't want to receive that information anyway. So
you're right.
Why waste the email on someone who's not going to look at it, not engage with it? We're going to be able to provide you with the open rate. So you'll be able to see the percentage of folks that are opening it. You'll be able to see the percentage of people that are interacting with the email, like if they're actually clicking the links. And then my favorite is you'll actually be able to get a heat map on like where folks are scrolling and where people are clicking on the email. So you'll be able to, in a very short amount of time, be able to pull like, okay, next email, I'll do this because that was successful, or next email, I'll do something different.
Is there any stats on like for every 1,000 that you send, if you get an average of like 1 that subscribes or 2 or 5, is there like anything to make us feel better about ourselves? Do you have anything like that?
Everything will be percentage based. So I'm hoping that the rest of the reporting will be able to show you how you've done a good job, and that would be more of that. What will hopefully make you feel better is that we do subscribe to maintaining a 97% deliverability rate. So what you can feel good about sending the email is that almost every single person is actually going to receive that outside of some sort of block or something that they may have. But we maintain one of the industry highest deliverability rates. So I hope that gives you some confidence going into it.
It makes me feel a little bit better. Thank you.
Sure.
Even 97 makes me, I'm trying to think of my last email that I sent, and I think that makes me feel good. Thank you. You already made my day.
I'm scared to look. Is there like an open rate percentage we should be shooting for, or is it different for everybody?
It's different by industry, we say, but if you can maintain an average of 37% or greater, you're doing really, really well. A click-through rate is expected to come in around 2%. So sending 100 emails, you can expect that about 2 people will click through your emails. Oof. And we're going to kind of sprinkle in some best practices here and there. We always recommend maintaining a healthy balance between images and text. We've all opened those emails that are just way too much text, and you're like, nope, haven't had coffee yet. No, thank you. So we need to maintain that. But even more importantly, is hyperlink everything. So all of the photos, you want to put, of course, the traditional highlighted, hyperlink, bold things as well. But hyperlinking the images is huge, and that can be a massive game changer.
And is that because it's less likely to mark that as spam, or it's just giving me more opportunity to click? Like, what's the reasoning behind that?
Both of those. So I would say that the larger reason is that it's a larger field to click, and the expectation now. So I've sent an email out and I use Constant Contact personally on the side as well. And after sending that out, I had one of the people reach out to me saying, well, I can't buy this product because when I click on it, it doesn't work. So then I had to explain it. So of course I missed my own best practice here. I was like, no, there's a link right below it. So most people have that intentions of like, okay, if I see something, I press it on my phone. Of course, on the computer is slightly different experience, but if you see something you like or you want to interact with on a phone, you press it. And if it's not working on the image, you immediately assume the email's broken.
Yeah.
If somebody is not familiar, what does hyperlink mean? But is that like taking the word and just putting the link on it? I'm so sorry. I'm not very good at emails at all.
No worries. That's why we're all here, right? So what you want to do is most of the time within an email, you'd type out the words, click here, you would highlight it and put the URL of where you want that to go.
Okay.
You have the ability to do that with images as well. So if you have this article or something that you're writing about all the availability of paint colors or events that you might be having, you can put an image above of your store location or of somebody painting. You have some great imagery on the CCSA website. And if you took any of those and put that above what you're trying to say, you have the ability within our system to hyperlink that entire image so that if someone were to click it or press it on their phone, mobile optimization is something we take very serious. So that is going to be fully built in automatically for you. You'll be able to see what it looks like on a computer, on a phone. And when that image is hyperlinked, it's so easy just to press when you're scrolling through an email to say, I want to interact with that, press it. And now you're off on to the next step.
Perfect.
Do you have an idea of if emails are being opened more on phones versus desktops these days?
Yeah, so we'll be able to give you that data as well. It's going to be more data that just says smartphone opposed to desktop because some of the regulations and things have changed from a smartphone perspective. So Apple is a lot more stringent on what information they'll share back within the platform. So you'll be able to see that 40% of the emails opened were on desktop and 60% were on mobile or vice versa.
So it's important to make sure that it looks good on both, right? And Constant Contact gives you the view from both. Like
exactly.
You can kind of flip
as
over.
You're building, you'll be able to preview that as well on what it will look like.
That's something that I'm trying to pay more attention to. I will be honest with you. I love to design my emails in Canva. I do like a monthly newspaper and I'll design the full thing in Canva. And you're going to yell at me because it's a lot of pictures, and don't yell at me because I'm really fragile, but I am making sure that I'm adding more text these days and hyperlinking. I'm like, it's going to be good. But I'm making sure I'm flipping back and forth so that it's like, you can read it. The font's not too small. It's not too overwhelming. And that's not something I think I've really been paying attention to even last year.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think what makes it easier is we do have a Canva integration as well within our platform.
Interesting.
What?
Yeah. So if you need to build, we do have that Canva integration where if that's your comfort level, that's perfectly fine. And I'll tell you something that it takes me a long time to get used to because I love Canva as well. But within our platform, we don't have a click and drag method. We have a click and point, meaning that you would click an image and then just click again on where you want that image to go within the email rather than like click and dragging it. And I just got so used to Canva that when I go to flip back, it does take me a minute to adjust. These little like simple nuances can ruin a day. So having that integration, if that's your preference, is really, really easy.
I did not know that. Do you know the CCSA discount off the top of your head?
I believe it's 25%. I will have to double check that. I know that there are several discount tiers. And the reason why I don't know it off the top of my head is because if you prepay for 12 months, there's a discount.
Sure.
If you prepay for 6 months, there's a separate discount as well. But I'll be happy to send that information along.
Yeah, we'll include it.
What does it break down to monthly then with the discount? Do you have that roughly?
The way that our billing structure works is based off of the amount of contacts you want or have, and then also what capabilities you need. So for example, our billing starts at $12 a month. So if you have a list of less than 500 contacts and you want the ability to just go in, build an email, send it, and get the reporting back, the plan will work great for you. If you tiered up to our standard plan, that allows you, and it kind of covers a little bit of maybe what you're going to ask me later for time management, but that allows you the ability to schedule an email, which I love because you could take, okay, I'm not so busy on a Tuesday at the beginning of the month, take a half a morning and schedule out your entire months of email at one time and just set it and forget it after that. And then we do have a premium plan, which is usually for, I would say, the size of business, like way overkill. It's like full of automations and bunch of like custom jargon that I can throw at you, but like it will bore everyone. So it's really good. I'll tell you the best part is it does include SMS messaging, which we do offer as a service. And you can either add that on a la carte to a smaller plan, or it is included in our premium plan.
That's amazing. I have to have a small confession that I do not use it yet, but I will say that already this time, and you've already won me over. So thank you.
Does that mean you don't send any emails at all, or you don't use constant contact? No?
The other one. I use my POS
Never mind.
server.
Just kidding.
You don't just send out only text, right? You're not sending out like the 2010 email that like has a couple bullet points, you're not doing that, right?
No, I don't do that. But I use my website and I use my POS system. And I was looking for something to bring that all together. So that I'm already was in the market, and I was very excited about this call as well because I would like to give you my money. So
yeah. Bill directly gets your money.
Yes, just
all right, let's pull back a little bit and tell me sort of like what works and what doesn't work. I mainly want to hear like what doesn't work in the email and like what I should stop doing immediately.
Sure. I would say that subject lines are probably the biggest mistakes are made in subject lines, in my opinion.
You're looking directly at me when you say that.
So the things that definitely don't work, because you have to catch some attention. You have to build curiosity in a very short amount of time. We find that most people are going to at least see the email on their phone first. So you're only going to have that split second to really break through and build their curiosity. So the things that we always see fail are all caps and filled with emojis. That does not work anymore.
Yeah.
It screams spam. So that is a big, big no-no. So what works better is building curiosity and asking questions. Have you seen the new products that have launched yet? Or something like, you're not even going to believe our fourth or our last best tip of pain. So getting them to be like,
so it can be
wow,
kind of long. Like that to me is a long subject line.
It can, for sure, because what ends up happening is it cuts off part of it on the phone.
I see.
And now the average person, if you've gotten their attention, at least in the first like couple, they want to see the rest. So then they open it up even just to see the full subject line.
Interesting. You know what makes me mad?
Curiosity.
I don't like when they email me and they do like the reply like RE : and then it's like, because it looks like then they are replying back to me.
Oh,
I don't like that.
Spam.
I really don't like that.
I don't like that either.
Yeah, that's terrible.
As a small business owner, saving money is the key to running a successful studio. When you join the Contemporary Ceramic Studio Association, you unlock exclusive discounts with industry suppliers, saving you money on everything from bisque to glazes and clay tools. These discounts easily cover the cost of your membership and then some. Don't miss out on savings that can help boost your bottom line and keep your shelves stocked with high-quality supplies. Learn more about our membership discounts at ccsaonline.com.
How important is the preview part of the subject? You know what I'm talking about? That like underneath line? Is it called preview?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to allow you within our platform to adjust what that says. So you'll be able to kind of add a little bit more onto that kind of curiosity. So if I were to do a subject line that says 4 ways to improve your blank, and then after that, when I have that option for that preview for that next piece, let's shoot for number 1, showing you a little bit. And then even if you can do like a ... number 4 is my favorite.
Okay. Again, we're
of that screams curiosity. Yeah, exactly.
So let's say we do a lot of like classes in our industry and a lot of events. Let's say we want to sell an event. And so this email is just for the purpose of selling tickets. Do you have an event coming up, Christine? I'm like, I can use one of mine, but it's not pottery related.
Yeah, I have a clay handprint
Okay. So can you give us like, not to now put Bill on the spot, can you give us like a subject line that would entice people to open that email and read more and potentially book a ticket for that event?
I love a question. So could you imagine your little ones in printed hand? Or do you
Love
want to
that.
see examples of what something like that could look like?
That's
Mm.
Right. And
Ooh.
just, of course, like getting more specific into exactly what you do. And I love that one, you put me on the spot. And two, I also love that you brought up events because we can absolutely send emails that help support your event. We also do have a full events tool built into our platform that will allow you to harbor all of the emails that you send out. Our platform also can send out social media posts
Hmm.
onto Facebook, Instagram, and X or Twitter. Um, so you'll want to, and I'm sorry, actually LinkedIn. We've removed X and Twitter since we go back. So I don't know if we
Yeah,
edit that or just let them know.
that makes more sense.
But we can post on Instagram and Facebook through our platform. We also have the ability to sell tickets and merchandise through the events tool. So you can have log into our platform, go into one place, see all of the emails, all of the social posts, and be able to have the availability to sell merchandise or tickets for that event and manage it from there.
Wow.
Wow. All right. So what other things should we not be doing?
So I would say having full text, we've talked about that. We want to make sure that we maintain healthy subject lines for sure. I would say the last like big no-no is sending to people that you really don't have permission to send to.
Mm.
So
Mm,
do not by all means buy a list. It is usually
yeah.
something that can cripple your emailing. I'll explain this a little bit. So what Google, Microsoft, and anyone else that has an email provider service does for you is provide your organization behind the scenes with what we call a sender score. And that sender score is going to go up or down based off of the amount of opens, engagement, and spam reporting. So if you had a lot of people saying, don't email me, you didn't have permission, report you as spam, you
Hmm.
immediately lower that sender score. And if that gets to a certain point, you won't even be able to get an email through.
A lot of us are brick and mortars or we sell at
Mhm.
festivals and stuff, and we capture emails like on a piece of paper and we're inputting it in later. How do we avoid that person almost like forgetting they gave us their email and then marking us as, oh, I didn't give you permission, or can you come back and like defend your score a little bit? Like how do we get around that?
The best practice would be instead of having them write it, have a QR code up for them to
I see.
scan.
Mm,
And
Oh.
that QR code, everyone loves QR codes right now because it's become easy. You don't have to have a special app. It just works
mhm.
on iPhone and Android cameras now. So open your camera app, point it, and then that will bring them somewhere where keep it short because that scares people when you're like, here's a landing page, which you can build within our platform with 17 questions. Like no one's spending that kind of time, right? So just keep it simple. First, last name, email, maybe phone number, but I think
Mm,
that is even pushing it because,
I
or
agree.
making that non-required field at least. So that way there, it has a little checkbox on that place that says, include me on marketing emails. Yes, I want them. And that allows them within less than 30 seconds subscribing officially. And then the best part is there's no manual input of this data. It just automatically goes into our platform.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
I know, Christine, you had mentioned earlier that you have a point of sale system. We would also have the ability to capture this data for you and
Oh,
send it over to your point of sale system automatically through integrations as well.
perfect. Sold.
Now, just to address if you didn't want to make any changes to your process, just putting up like a simple post, something within saying like on that piece of paper, or putting up a clear disclosure, just saying that by leaving
Mm,
your email, we will be contacting you. There's no way to officially go in and say like,
yeah.
no, I promise this person gave me
Right.
permission.
I'm really
Um,
nice.
but
Yeah.
that does help a little bit if you're not willing to go the scanning and entry method that way.
What other ways can we build our email list? What do you recommend for us?
Well, I love the in-person QR codes, of course. The website, and I'm not familiar with your organization, if they all have their own or if it's an
Mm.
extension of your website, but your
Yeah.
website's really, really critical and should have at least a place or two to leave an email. And then lastly, a pop-up. I don't like pop-ups that come up right away. I think we all
I
kind of
don't
like,
either.
oh my
Yeah, like
gosh, like let me
instantly.
at least see your site before you
Hmm.
smash me in the face with a pop-up. I've found that I can set it between a minute to a minute and a half so
Mm,
that the pop-up doesn't come up right away. And then when it does, that will just be something simple like stay more informed, leave your email address. We'll love to send you, if you want to include a discount there, 10% off of your next visit or something to that effect. You can always do something like that to entice.
That's such a good
That was
idea.
possible.
So many times I'm like autopilot exit out of the pop-up and I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I actually do want to be on the email list. And then I have to go
Mhm.
hunting for it.
Yeah.
I also have started anytime I send an email that is like, for everybody, I will go into my Instagram stories. That Instagram is like my place of choice when it comes to social media. And I'll like take a screenshot of it and then link it. So that way I am getting people over there. And then also in the next slide, linking them over to a place to actually sign up for my newsletter. I'm really trying to build it and make it a place that's not quite so scary for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Hard.
That makes it really, really simple. And then what I do love as well, and if Instagram is your place, this potentially can help, is a little bit of a time saving tool that I built this really fantastic looking email, has a nice 50-50 split or 60-40 split of images and text. And now I want this to also go out on social. We have a tool that within 2 clicks will take the email that you built and make it available for your Facebook or Instagram account and just post there or
Interesting.
schedule it later.
I'm going to do some research on that. I want to see what that looks like.
I love the idea of scheduling because I'm somebody that will work at like midnight and you don't
Yeah.
want to send it right then. So I love that because I'm a night out and you don't want to miss your audience by sending it. Actually, that's a good question. Is there a good
Yeah.
time to send?
So that would be like the best thing if there's like a cracked code for that. I think that does unfortunately come from looking at reporting and trying and failing. We do have a couple different tools that will help. We can do like A/B testing, for example. So you could check some subject line things and send out an email at a certain time and then say, okay, at this time with this type of subject, that worked better. At this time with that type of subject, that got better. So if you really want to try and get creative with like some of the different timing and ways that the email is structured, I would say like common sense says not at midnight. Some of the things that we've kind of pulled from data is if you're trying to get to somebody that's like really high in business, like a CEO or something, really early in the morning is a good time. If you're trying to get to like, and trying to turn this into something that's relatable on for your business, somebody that's going to visit your place of business more likely on the weekend or in a casual environment, then you are wanting to reach out to those parents. When do parents check their personal emails? In between spoonfuls at the dinner table? Like probably not. So getting them an email like between 3 and 6 when they're exiting work, or perhaps later in the night, even 8 o'clock, I could imagine for a parent or somebody in their family. Even lunch break. So like a lot of folks ask me like when to post on social. And sometimes I'm like, Instagram's great at noon because you have all of these parents that are going on break for a minute and just wanting to step away from their career for a second. And what do? They pick up their phone and they go to Instagram. So that could be a good spot for your email to land in their email box as well. So unfortunately, it's playing with a little bit of the data, but just applying common sense to be, I know my people. My people would be doing this around this time. So I'm going to send then.
I understand it's going to be different for everybody, but like, is it 4 a month? Because that's weekly. Is it more? Like, how many is too many emails a month?
I would say like
30?
2 or 3 a week starts pushing it. That's why I focused a little bit earlier on that segmentation, because a lot of people, even go back a year or two, would be sending to their entire list every single time. And I really don't believe that that helps anybody. One of our cool tools that will help you is you're putting in a contact, and depending on where you got this contact from, you can apply a tag to say like, this is someone that was in my location or attended this birthday event or whatever that looks like. So you'll be able to, at a later time, create a segmented list of folks that you tagged as such. So I saw them at a festival or something to that effect. And then what I would do is, of course, everybody gets the newsletter. But then on a weekly basis, you could switch it up and say, on Monday, I'm going to send to folks that came to us through an event. And then later that week, on Thursday or Friday, I'm going to send an email right before the weekend to parents, folks that I know have children, and I'm going to cater it towards early Saturday morning kids event. And I'm going to send that email out to just that 30% of my list that has it. And the reason I think that's most successful is because now you're sending to the person that's most likely going to engage.
Yeah.
And there's ways of asking in that we said when you have that QR code and they fill out a questionnaire, you can make that a question without being creepy instead of saying, do you have children? You can say, what is your ideal paint night? Is it with your bestie, with your kids, or by yourself? And then you can kind of separate that. I love that.
Yeah.
Is there a way after the fact, if it's not on the landing page, to like send an email to everybody and almost have them like click what you want to opt in on so they can segment themselves? Again, I'm asking for me.
Not something that would automatically do in the way that you have described, but what I would recommend is sending out a poll. And if you sent out a poll within our platform, we would have the ability to build that tool. You would say, here are 4 things that I would send emails on. What would you most likely be interested in? And based off of that, you could take everybody that clicked on a particular answer and then segment them out.
Okay, that doesn't sound so scary.
No.
Something that has been scary for me in the past is a welcome sequence. Living in Atlanta, I used MailChimp for years, and their welcome sequence, it was just a little too much for me at the time to understand. Can you walk me through, or just tell us kind of like, has it gotten easier? And should we be using those basically?
Sure, I'll touch a couple points on that. So automations start coming in, and that's what that is essentially. It's a series of automatic emails that go out based off of behavior or some sort of action. They start to become available on our standard kind of middle tier. And what you'll love about the middle tier is that the automations available to you are already essentially built out. And one of the things that makes our platform so super valuable is that we do templates all the time. New templates, there's fresh material all the time in there. So every holiday that comes up. So this is very rarely something that folks have to go in and build from scratch, because we have hundreds of already predetermined templates in there. You're just implementing your own photos and then your own verbiage and what you need. And even for that piece, I know I'm kind of checking a lot of boxes here. We have AI embedded into our platform that's powered by ChatGPT. So rather than even having 2 screens open, or if somebody's running a store and they're not used to AI, they're scared of ChatGPT, like this makes it very, very easy, because I do find that there is a polarization when it comes to AI. So in this little box, you just put a couple bullet points of what you're trying to say, and then you decide that I want this to be, and we'll let you choose the mood: positive, enthusiastic, professional, and our platform will write out your email for you and then allow you to select out of which one of those options you liked the verbiage best. You can go in and customize and doctor it, of course, if you want. So our platform will A, have the automation built for you, email 1, email 2. B, it'll have templates available for you, so they'll look nice and professional or pretty or however you want them. And then C, you'll have the availability to have AI write the emails for you if you're kind of tongue-tied or just haven't had your coffee, so your inspiration isn't flowing yet.
How easy is it to brand out those templates to match your specific colors and fonts and things like that?
Very easy. So you're able to generate a template at the beginning if you would like, and then have it so that that template is available for you every time. Now, if that sounds scary, and I know that some people that run businesses are like, well, I don't have a marketing degree, so I'm not doing that. Our support team is incredible. They're all US based. They all work for our company, and they're very, very easy to communicate, and they love helping people. Anything you'll find on Constant Contact is that our support is one of our strongest suits. So you'll be able to get on the phone with someone that can walk you through and guide you through building that template for you, if they won't build it for you as it is. A lot of the times they just get so excited at helping you that they'll just go in and be like, all right, I've built you a template. Like, do you love this? And go from there. Once that original template is built and you're like, wow, this is great. It's all my colors, the branding, logo. You just save that and use that every single time going forward. And that helps with all of that branding strategy.
I'm feeling excited.
I am. I'm on board, and I think not having the support from where I currently maybe have my email service, there's not the templates and everything. It's so overwhelming sending that, but I feel like this could be easy. Thank you.
And that's our goal. So our CEO and all of our leadership always says in all of our meetings, our goal is to help the small stand tall. And we recognize that small businesses don't have massive marketing teams usually. And that can really cripple somebody if you're not putting out quality marketing when it comes to the type of business we want to do. And COVID has changed a lot. Your online presence is insanely important now.
Yeah.
Even more so than it was, prior to 2020. So we want this to be easy. We want this to be professional, and you're going to be able to put out some amazing content very, very easily. And then just to circle back to that last point, building out an automation sounds complicated. I want someone to click on this thing. I'm going to put in my information. They're going to get an email automatically back, and maybe even a couple days later. That sounds terrifying. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to code. I don't know how to manipulate like my point of sale system, but our system is very much like, what do you want to do? You click this, pick your template, say what you want to say, and go. And it just takes care of it.
I love that, especially because you can decide like which segment gets that, right? Like you could essentially, every segment could have a different automation.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes, you could say that anyone from this event that fills it up, I want to have a segment, a welcome series email that says, thank you so much for visiting my booth at blah or whatever that is. And I look forward to connecting with you. And what I personally like about that, just as a best practice in my mind, is if you set that segment up to go like 30 minutes after they give their information, it looks like you've taken time away from your booth to send the email. The person receives it while they're still at the fair, likely, or the event. So they're like, oh my gosh, like this person just took this time to send this personalized email to me because it's going to say their name and everything else in it. So it's a really welcoming door to your business.
Is there sort of like a checklist to go over before you press send on an email?
Not necessarily a checklist. You can do some testing very easily. So if you have your email and you're like, oh, I swear this is ready to go and there's absolutely no errors and it's going to be perfect, you can send a test email to yourself, very easy, or a colleague if you would like. And then we do have the preview mode, which will pull it up on the screen and show you from both. So I recommend doing that just because having another set of eyes on it. I'm also a writer in my other life outside of work. So I could write the same thing over and over and there could be the same error that I miss every single time. So I think AI can help with some of that, but just getting that preview email into someone else's view, I think would help. And then being able to see what it looks like on a computer versus a phone also will help.
I do say I like using AI, and I think it's really helpful within our industry because we wear so many hats and our to-do lists are so long. I do wish more of our industry would do some editing to the AI. It gets a little robotic at times. And if you just go in and change a couple words, it becomes a little more real. So that's my little tip of the episode. That's a new segment, Amy's tip of the episode.
So I love how you said that though. So I look at AI being built into our platform as a benefit for a couple reasons. One, a lot of people are afraid of AI and using it and thinking that it kind of is ruining society and there's all right. But I think it's become like a calculator. No one's doing like super long math anymore because there's a calculator out there. No one's doing super long emails and text and stuff because there's AI. So you're able to cater it. So one of the best tips to watch for is copying and pasting the whole thing, because I'm sure you've seen it. It's like at the very bottom of it, it'll say something like, does this capture what you're looking for?
Yes.
And it's like, okay, well, that wasn't supposed to be there. But my whole point to this ramble is that our tool does have 6 or 7 different tones that you can choose from. And I know you can manually ask ChatGPT, for example, to do that. But if you're using the AI within our platform, you're able to put something out, 4 or 5 bullet points, and say that I want the tone to be like this. And if you select different ones, it can really take that roboticness out of what it puts back to you.
Yeah, that's nice. I've noticed Canva does that as well. And it's not bad, honestly. So sometimes I'll go into Canva before I'll go into ChatGPT. It's a little more like person-based.
For sure.
Are you ready to be inspired and take your studio to new heights? As a CCSA member, you'll have exclusive access to our annual convention, the must-attend event for Fired Arts studio owners. With expert speakers, hands-on workshops, and networking opportunities, the convention is where you'll learn the latest industry trends and gain insight to grow your business. Plus, you'll connect with suppliers showcasing the newest products. Don't miss out on the most exciting event of the year. Become a CCSA member today at ccsaonline.com and join us for the next convention.
Let's say you get one of your emails returned back to you. Does that like ding your score in any way? How do you handle these returned messages?
So the ones that are bounced back or unsubscribed, I recommend just removing bounce back entirely unless there's some chance that they're going to end up back in there because they're in your point of sale or something. So someone in your point of sale system says, I don't want to provide my email, so you go none@none.com or something, if that's going to keep popping up into your platform because you're taking it, then you can add it to like basically an unsubscribed list. So everybody that unsubscribes from your emails, you can keep them in a separate list that we have designated already, and we automatically add them to it if they're manually unsubscribing. You can add additional ones if you'd like, but that's going to prevent you from sending out to those folks again automatically. So if someone unsubscribes, taken care of for you. You won't ping them again.
If you've noticed, if say you've got a bounce back and the email is like Christine@kmail.com, it's like obviously a typo. Is it okay to fix that, or do you have to take them from the list?
Not only is it okay to fix that, our platform will usually pick up.
Oh, we'll fix that.
Yeah, so when you go to upload the contacts, you can do it in a bunch of different ways. Spreadsheet is the most common. Some people will just copy and paste a ton of text. We're going to give you a entire list of here is what the contacts will essentially look like in our system, and we'll flag ones that say one letter off from what they would be, and we'll say, is this intended to be? And we'll allow you to fix it right there to help prevent some of those from coming through that way.
That's fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's that 97% deliverability, right?
Yes.
That's exactly it. It's all part of it. We also focus a lot of time on catching spammers, by the way. So like I remember being in sales and like talking to someone and like selling them the platform, and not even 20 minutes later getting pinged that account was building one of those like fake USPS emails. And uploaded a list that wasn't verified. So we take a lot of pride in the back end of kind of that security and combing of it. So we use technology and a lot of people to make sure that if someone's using our system in a bad way, that can negatively affect everybody. Because if all of a sudden, if they're coming from our servers and that gets flagged, and then an innocent business is trying to send from the same server. So to prevent that, we put a lot of manpower, woman power, and technology behind making sure that we're stopping that going out ahead of time. So that all contributes to that 97% as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How easy is it for someone to ditch their current platform and bring all of their, let's say 2,178 subscribers to Constant Contact?
So our biggest competitors, though, of course, I'm like, that was said in such a good way. So we make it very, very easy. That's the quick answer. We have predetermined, whether it be videos or processes, built out for the ones that we know of. So if it's one of the big three, I'll say that we already have a process in place where it's either a 2-minute video that shows you, or a process that you would indicate within the platform. It would just say, okay, do this, this, and this, get the spreadsheet like this, upload it in ours, and you're good. If all of that sounds confusing and you're like, that's still terrifying, no, thank you. Our support team will be happy to jump in on the phone with you, sharing screens if they need to, and getting that information. But basically getting your contact list into a spreadsheet form is the easiest way, in my opinion. And then it's just lining up whatever fields of information you want to have. So if you want to bring in their phone number because you have it, select that field. If you want to bring in their address because you have it, you can bring that in if you want to our platform. It's just selecting kind of what information you want in there from the spreadsheet.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With these auto emails, what about birthdays? Can they put in their birthdays, and can you store that into that? Is that something that you guys hand? Because I know that's what someone does that I might know.
Yeah, we love the birthday email. So, and it is one of the easier automations to build out. So that's included in our standard plan, that kind of middle tier. So the two big ones are birthday emails and the welcome emails. And those are two that I think every business should be taking advantage of, because it's us just reaching out to your customer automatically for you. So the birthday email, you would just select, likely you would have their birthday from whatever form or whatever they're filling out. If you don't, some people will use that as like an anniversary kind of email. So it's although it's called the quote unquote birthday email, you can say like they've become a member or they've become part of our program on this date. And then that can be their birthday email. And the birthday email would be a predetermined template and written email by you that just goes out to that person at the appropriate time.
I don't know if they do it anymore, but the bike bag company Timbuk2, years ago, they used to send out a day after email, and the subject line, or after your birthday, and the subject line's like, oh, it's a bummer, it's not your birthday anymore. And they'd give you like a 15% coupon code.
That's
And it
so
was
cool.
actually so fun, because like you get the few on your birthday and then the day's over and you're like, well, this sucks. And they came through and they're like, yeah, we know it sucks. Here's your coupon code. So I've always remembered that. I mean, this has been a decade ago at this point, but
That's huge.
cute.
I actually like that. I feel like I'll take that on as a best practice
Mhm.
because you are absolutely right. It's like party's over. Just kidding.
yeah,
We still
right.
gotta keep these gifts going.
And little things like that. I mean, I think that's why we're running a small business, is like these little pockets of joy.
Oh, for sure.
All right. So any trends in emails that you're seeing? Anything fashionable right now in the email marketing space?
I mean, with everything that's gearing up is the holidays, right? So everyone is thinking about how do I market in Q4 for the holidays. So I would say you're going to have people that have built out either custom automations for the holidays. There's going to be like a lot of that. So that's like a big trend right now because it's just where we're at. We make sure that everyone feels prepared in Q4 for that with all of our templates and all of the material that's already predetermined and ready to go in a lot of that. So I'd say that's
Yeah.
like the big thing.
That's nice. I feel very intimidated to like compete with the big box stores. I almost stopped sending stuff out because I'm like, well, it's going to get buried between the Amazon, the Target, whatever. And I need to just get over that. And so I think the templates would make that a little bit easier.
For sure. So a good subject line and a well-built
Mhm.
template with amazing images. And I would say shorter is much
Mhm.
better around that time. So we talked about like email length and everything a little bit earlier. I think in this, it's got to be quick. You're going to have even less time than you would normally. So I just think that getting at least something out there and combining that with some sort of promo or something that would be appealing. You don't have to
Yeah.
give away the store, but putting something out there, people do expect some sort of a discount throughout that whole weekend. That's going to get your foot in the door. And if nothing else, engaging with them, reminding them you're there, and maybe perhaps getting a click or two is definitely not going to be a bad thing.
And now's the time to really start thinking about that stuff. I mean, I get stressed out when I see posts that are like Christmas is in 78 days or something. And I'm like, how? I actually can't talk about it, but now's the time, when you are busy on a Tuesday afternoon when the store is not quite so crazy, to get these like scheduled and set up and everything, and giving yourself these to-do lists and hard due dates. That's something that we talked about in a previous episode, is like, get your systems in place, get a due date out, and actually stick to it.
Oh, for sure. And that's where the scheduling comes in so bad. And we have the ability to schedule the social posts as well. So,
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
not
really
saying
interesting.
completely replace your current process, but if you are also going to be able to supplement some additional posts just by going on now on a slower Tuesday, schedule out a couple posts that will just automatically go out, like that'll help you later on when you're super busy trying to get a post out, at least you have that other one that's going to go out automatically anyway.
Yeah.
Are there any limitations on how far out you can post or you can schedule? I'm sorry.
I'd have to double check. I believe it's 60 days, but we may have extended that within our most recent update as well, because it's basically just a calendar and a trigger. So I can't imagine that being a limitation. I'd have to check though.
What do you do if you've scheduled all these emails, but you accidentally didn't, and you send like 15 emails in one go? How do you handle that?
So we do have a calendar view that will show you everything that goes out. So nice, pretty calendar. It'll show you each day what's scheduled to go out, whether it's a social post, an email, which social channel it's going out on, if it's a text, because again, we also do SMS messaging. So you'll be able to see all that in one place. So you'll be able to check yourself you'll be like, okay, that is maybe
you'd have to
little
work pretty hard to send out 15 emails in one day, I would imagine.
That's funny.
Tell us a little bit more about the SMS.
Yeah, sure. So that is something that we've expanded on over the last year. We brought it in about a year and a half ago. And what our SMS platform allows you to do is send professional text messages to all of your recipient lists. We go through a very similar process to the emails. So we make sure that they're verified, that they're phone numbers that you may have had in your point of sale system, or if people are providing them, that they've actually wanted to receive those. The first message that goes out is going to alert them that they have the availability to opt out. So we've all maybe received these. They can reply stop or opt out or something like that to get off of any future communications. But our SMS platform allows you to send out a text-only SMS. So no images. We're not sending videos. We're not sending pictures or even GIFs. But you're allowed to send out a message that would say, don't forget about our upcoming event, or don't forget to register for our upcoming event, and include a hyperlink. And that we do see as a very, very successful our approach in your type of business is we've basically looked at our reporting from email, and you've engaged in this email 3 or 4 times about this upcoming event. So we're going to try one more way just to get you to register or to get you to do some sort of actionable item. And that's all built within our platform.
And is that the highest package tier that's available does that make sense?
So it's really cool. No, that's a very good question. So it is available to send 500 messages included in the price at the premium level.
Okay.
But it's important to note that if you have any other package, you can add it on a la carte. And what something like that might look like is for $10, I'll send 500 messages in a month. And it, of course,
that's really
tiers
not
up.
bad.
No, I know what I spend for.
Yeah.
Well, I spend for 2,000, I think, text messages, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like
It's not $10.
Like, no, it's not even $40. It's so.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's affordable. It's a nice add-on, and it's an extra touch point.
How easy or how much are you allowed to kind of switch between the packages or the a la carte? Like, I understand that the levels depend on how many subscribers you have, but say that I am in the second level and I add on the texting and it's not really working for me. Is it easy to cancel that part of the service and maybe bring it back again later?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So we don't actually have you sign any long-term commitments or agreements. Even in the situations where you're paying ahead, you're still not committing that you'll have our service for there. You're actually just saying, I'm going to pay for 6 months at a time at a discounted rate is what it is. So no contracts, no commitments. You're able to cancel and fluctuate your plan as needed on a month-to-month basis. The only thing that you could run into is that we do have a contact floor. And what that means is I'm going to put in 1,000 contacts today, and I'm going to reduce it by 500 at the end of the month. We're still going to bill you at that high contact threshold, because what we found is that folks would put in 1,000 contacts, email them at the beginning of the month, remove all of the contacts, and then the billing comes out at the end of the month and they'd have the lowest tier possible. And we're like,
I see.
Yeah. So there's a floor in that whatever your highest mark for that month would be the floor that we bill you for. But outside of that, though, you could say for month 1, I just want to be on light, that $12 plan, just to try it, get a few emails out. And then you're like, wow, this is great. I want to go up to standard and then even premium and go back. Absolutely not a problem.
Nice.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
I know.
I'm trying to decide on my when to do it, but I'm super excited.
This afternoon, Christine.
I was going to say, we're ready. Right after this call, I'll take the credit card. No, I'm just kidding.
No, just go ahead and say your credit card number on air, Christine.
Yes. Okay. So
Yeah. Nice. Well, Bill, is there anything coming up at Constant Contact that y'all are planning? Anything you're excited about? Any kind of secrets you can give us?
So what I would love to try and work on is with your organization, I would love to get our creative team to pair up with your creative team and maybe get like a specialized template that we believe would work for everyone. And then what we'd be able to do is share that down to any of your members. I think that would be really exciting.
That would be. And so now's the listener's chance to email in or comment wherever we're putting, wherever you can reach us to tell us what that template should be, what you're looking for in that kind of custom template.
That I think would be a game changer, because I feel like it would be 90% complete for any of your locations, and they would be able to just go in and make a few minor tweaks, personalize it a little bit, and then have a template that we believe works very, very well, and every person under your umbrella would have access to it.
That's pretty cool.
I like it. You've already made emailing easier, and now you're trying to make it like even easier. And the next step would be that you come to my studio and you just take pictures and you do it for me. So I really appreciate what you're building up to.
Yeah, just get him an apron. Let him behind the counter.
Perfect.
Let's go. Yeah. Absolutely. Don't let me paint anything, though. My artistic ability is not amazing.
Oh, we can teach you that. Don't worry about it.
You're a writer, so you have some creativeness there, right?
Very different. I can make you think about an image.
What are you writing, by the way? Now we just want to know.
No, sure. So I love talking about it. So I am a published author. W.D. Shipley is what I write under. So I have one book out. It's actually, ironically, it's about what happens worst case scenario with AI. So my main character is in a military community with a chip in their brain driven by AI, and his is malfunctioning.
That's crazy.
That's so cool.
The book is called Maya. MAIA stands for Manufacturing Artificial Intelligence Agency.
Oh my God. All right. Well, next book club meeting, everybody, we'll be reading Bill's book.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That's so exciting.
I'd love to attend, answer some questions about that too.
Let's go. Get some signed copies out. Love that.
I don't hate this. I like where it's going.
Nice. Well, if you could leave us with maybe like, I don't know, some encouragement or just like fire us up about sending that email, fire Christine up about getting over to Constant Contact.
Yes.
Yeah, get us kind of excited, Bill. Let's see what you got.
It's so easy, and our support is there. So you're going to have an army of people that are ready to help you, that can get on and get this email looking professional. We're going to help the small stand tall, and we're going to make it super, super easy for you. That's what we're doing. And we're not charging an insane amount of money. The return on investment for our platform is typically, for every $1 spent, a $35 return. That's what we're seeing on average. So
that's amazing. I'm excited. I'm gonna send an email the second we get off this call.
I have one final question.
Yeah.
Because I just thought about, Amy, you were talking about font sizes. So what is the small, what font sizes should we not be using? I'm sorry. I just have to ask this real quick.
Please.
No, it's fine. I think it's a visual appealing thing. So depending on the length of the text, some people will do images and they want to just do like 3 or 4 kind of like bullet points, keep the font really big. I think for me, what's most engaging, what I feel is like usually an image that's something like data or technology driven, and then a larger headline that would lead to a blog. And then underneath that, in regular size font, 12 or 14, maybe 3 or 4 sentences about what the blog's about. And if I see that, if I'm interested in that blog, like I'm in, and you got my attention for another 5-10 minutes. So that's my personal approach.
I'm excited.
Well, Bill, thank you so much. I think we're both feeling pretty excited. I'm not going to be scared to send an email anymore. I'm going to send one later, email it to you, and you can rate it. You do have to be nice, though.
Of course.
And I look forward, to kind of seeing what everybody's doing. So as a reminder, CCSA members do get a Constant Contact discount. We'll figure out kind of exactly what that is and put it in the show notes and all that good stuff. But we look forward to everyone getting on their email marketing game, because it's so important. It's how we're reaching our customers directly and speaking to our target audience. So, and I think that's going to be it, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Bill, thank you again for being here. Christine, you're amazing. We love you as always.
Thanks
and I will see y'all. Well, I won't see Bill, but I'll see Christine in the next one. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Glazed Over is brought to you by the CCSA, the Contemporary Ceramic Studios Association. Thank you to our moderators, Amy Williams and Christine Steele. Intro and outro music by Scott Lester. Executive production by Louise Blazucki. Learn more about the CCSA at ccsaonline.com.